From storyflo, this is your daily audio brief for June 24th. Hey, it's Riley, June 24th. 10 things to be aware of before the day starts. Let's get into it. First, from Heather Delaney Reese, Trump's biggest supporter is walking away and others will soon follow. Last Thursday, on a little-known Canadian podcast, one of the loudest voices in American right-wing media said something that would have been unthinkable not long ago. Tucker Carlson announced he was leaving the Republican Party. "I'm out," he said. "And if I'm out, then I think a lot of other people are out." But this is no profile in courage. Carlson is not a hero or a truth-teller. He campaigned for Trump in 2024, after the insurrection, the indictments, and the verdict finding Trump liable for sexual abuse. Next. Second, from Heather Delaney Reese. Donald Trump's act just stopped working. At 2:50 this afternoon, the announcer's voice echoed through the factory floor. The 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Seconds later, two Secret Service agents rushed out towards the stage before an unusually energetic Trump emerged beneath a massive American flag. Up next. Third, from CCG Update, Center for China and Globalization. Henry Hiao Wang on China's Global Governance White Paper. China released a new white paper laying out its vision for global governance reform last Wednesday, introducing China's principles, proposals, and actions in global governance. The paper, titled More Just and Equitable Global Governance, China's Principles, Proposals, and Actions, was issued by the State Council Information Office, with Foreign Minister Wang Yi appearing at the launch press conference. Later that day, Henry Hiao Wang, founder and president of the Center for China and Globalization, discussed the white paper with Oteli Edwards from CNA, addressing its timing, China's call for "and then." Fourth, from The Turbulent World with James M. Dorsey. U.S.-Iran talks remain fragile. The negotiations between the United States and Iran remain fragile, with both contradicting the other on what may or may not have been agreed. James discusses the negotiations' prospects on TRT World. Transcript Anchor. Get some analysis now from James M. Dorsey, joining us from Singapore, where he's an adjunct senior fellow at the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies. Always good to speak to you, James. So, we've been focusing a lot on the contradictions coming from the United States and the Iranians. They've been framed positively, the deal, or the agreement rather, as a whole. Next, fifth, from HT Newsletters. Google sculpts AI for India and witnessing Meta's theater. Hello, cognitive warm-up. Norway intends to ban the use of generative AI tools by elementary school children, with Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store warning, correctly, if I might add, that AI lets children skip crucial steps in their education and that schools should focus on teaching them how to read, write, and do mathematics. These guidelines will be implemented with the new school year that starts sometime in August. 2 parts to this. Up next. Sixth, from HT Newsletters. WC Vibes. Facing Messi would be awesome, says CR7. There was disappointment after the game against DR Congo. For all his time in the limelight and all the goals he's scored, Cristiano Ronaldo was toothless against the World Cup debutantes. It prompted questions, at least from the outside, about his spot in the starting 11, as Portugal did not begin their campaign in North America on a positive note. And yet there he was, leading the team out against Uzbekistan in Houston. He had a score to settle and a few records to break in the process. With a swing of the right foot to slam a half-volley home in the 6th minute, Ronaldo became the first PL and then. Seventh, from Own the Future, TM. Against the Grain. New Zealand-born Leah Forsyth Steele and Victoria Spicer founded Monument London in 2020, a collectible design gallery shaped by a rigorous approach to sourcing, styling, and curation. Drawing on Forsyth Steele's background in museum curation and brand management and Spicer's training in set design at Elam School of Fine Arts, the pair have cultivated a distinctive point of view rooted in the radical design movements of 1970s Italy and 1980s Germany. At Monument, rare furniture and objects are approached not as functional pieces but as artworks in their own right, each selected for its material. Next. Eighth, from World War II Today. Barbarossa, facing a bitter, bitter enemy. The German assault on the Soviet Union progressed quickly, with the panzers thrusting deep into enemy territory and the Luftwaffe decimating the Soviet Air Force both on the ground and in the air. But the shock of the assault and the realization by many Soviet units that they had been overtaken by the enemy did not lead to an immediate collapse in Russian morale or that of their commanders. On the contrary, all the accounts from German soldiers in individual memoirs or in collections recall a fierce resistance by individuals and small groups of soldiers. Beyond the forest, we were waiting for are up next. 9th, from Mia Friedman's Babel. Not Ariana, a different thing. Also scary. So much talk about Ariana Grande. Has anyone noticed the other women, though? Because they're not okay. But first, let's Insta-babble, my first in a while. As is evident, one thing that made me feel even more unwell when I was lying in bed was scrolling Insta. I don't know if you realize this, but while we were sleeping, malnutrition and mutilation became the new beauty standard for women. But hang on. Don't say anything because you're not helping by talking about it. Why won't you just support women, bad feminist, bad woman, etc., etc.? I hear this a lot. And then, 10th, from Simplicius's Garden of Knowledge, Ukrainian sources claim latest surge in attacks on Russia was encouraged by Trump. Amidst the latest surge in Ukrainian long-range attacks on Russia, the Kiev Independent outlet released an interesting bombshell, claiming a senior Ukrainian official revealed to them that Trump had privately given Zelensky the green light to act more boldly against Russia, which we're meant to presume has been responsible for the latest round of escalations. Ukraine now believes it has secured White House backing for a campaign aimed at forcing Russia into meaningful negotiations, the Kiev Independent has learned. U.S. That's the day. Back at the desk tomorrow. What to watch is in your subscribe link.